None of them have ever been downtown. None of them have ever seen the Smithsonian. None of them have ever stopped by the White House.
Right.
They haven't seen anything. And the last point I'm going to make is that I really blow their mind when I show them and do some research on rappers such as Lil Wayne and show them they have a college degree. What? They have a college degree? I said, yeah, they have a college degree. So they fronting on one point.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
They ain't hard.
And then
the braces on his teeth.
Right. One braces on his teeth with an economics degree.
Yes.
Okay. So who's the one getting played?
Yes.
So
Right.
they thinking dumb is where it's at. But no, let me show you what he's doing. And he said, well, how come he hasn't said anything? I said, because he's not gonna tell y'all that because he's gonna lose record sales. He's not gonna make money. He's not part of the brand. He's not part of the brand. Right. So he gotta be thug fabulous. So what I'm saying, but you gotta educate the young people and let them know that Lil Wayne is a businessman.
Yes.
And don't let nobody else fool you. And he's highly educated. He's fronting on you because he really does have. And some other, it's what I call code.
It's a lot of them.
Well, it's code switching. It's code switching. It's code switching. It's basically there's one way to act black, and then they say there's one way to act white.
Yeah.
And you gotta unfortunately with the youth, explain to them how code switching is so they can still be cool with their friends because it's peer pressure, but yet at the same time know how to code switch when they need to get themselves a job.
I never heard of code switching, but I know about it because it seems like it's been going on for a long time.
Oh, it's been going on for a long time.
Like peer pressure, that sounds like what it is.
Same thing.
Yeah.
And it is.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you this, just in my line of business, I have a real estate company. And so when I am in Austin, Texas,
You take on a different.
they know me. They say, "Oh, they say the big black guy with the bow tie, yep, and the bald head, that's him."
Boots. And he got his boots on the table.
And so we start having that conversation. That's the conversation when I'm in Austin, Texas. When I'm in Upper Marlboro with my agents, my 500 agents, let me explain something to y'all. This is the deal. This is what we have to do. And then I have to go in that environment, and I have to go in that environment, and I always, you're like, I'm like, I call myself the black martyr.
You assimilate where you...
No, I don't assimilate.
Okay.
I keep my card.
He keep his card. He
let me make it clear, I keep my card. They all know. However, I still have to monitor what I say and how I say it, because when I'm in that environment, if I don't say it the right way, I'm going to be totally discredited because I used black English or something. There's always something there out there that says, let me find a way. Let's find a way to discredit, because he can't really be that intelligent and speak that way. So the minute you do something that conflicts with their perception, or no, that validates their perception. It's not a conflict. That validates their perception. Oh, see, that's the reason why. Forget all of the stats. Forget the performance. See that right there? That's the reason why not. And then you come here, and then it's a totally different conversation where listen, let me tell y'all something. And I say y'all, and I break it down, and I have to have that other conversation, which I like when you say code switching, because the reality is that we have to put in a language that everybody can understand.
And that's the point I wanted to make. It's the differences of language, no matter what kind of people you're talking about, and knowing your audience, because that could be over any industry.
Right.
Our field, your field, you just got to know who you're talking to.
Absolutely.
And that's about it.
Stacey brings up a good point, because again, with us both in psychology, we study human behavior, be it around this table, be it out there in the community, or in the academic world. And so we have to learn our target population, be it a one-on-one with an individual client, okay, who we're trying to market, or in a client who is trying to have a therapeutic environment or what have you. You're trying to teach them, some skills for better coping mechanisms. So you're learning their behaviors, and the behaviors is just universal, because we have behaviors that are positive in one area and maybe negative in another, but it's still under the auspices. It's still all behavior, and you have to learn what behaviors are acceptable okay, and which ones are not. And we're teaching our kids.
And how they connect to culture also.
Exactly. And we got kids that we got here today with this code switching you're talking about. I'll give you an example. When I was working in law enforcement, and I had to go by this kid's house. He had 2 different houses, okay? He had one over here up in Marlboro, and he had one over here at his daddy's house, okay? Because the parents are split, right? So, but he never invited the kids, because he was going to one of the inner city schools, smart kid. Never invited the kids to come over to his house. He go over there in the neighborhoods that weren't so luxurious or whatever, because he was acting as though he lived a certain way, and he wanted credit, street credit. Okay, right. So his dad came, the belongingness. His dad came to pick him up in the Porsche, and he wouldn't get in the car with him. He's like, go. When did it become a crime to pick you up in a Porsche? Okay, you know, I mean, it's like really, but he did not want those kids to know that side of his world. So even with the DC house, because it was in a nice upscale neighborhood, and the house in the Upper Marlboro was in he did not want them kids to know. I said, you're a fake, you're a phony. Because, you know, my catchphrase is being a real is a big deal, but being a fake is an escape, okay? So you're escaping from the reality of who you really are. Right. So I'm like, you fake. I said, you got these kids over here thinking that you a thug, because he want to be thug fabulous. Okay, so you got these kids thinking you all this, but you ain't all that. I said, you're trying to get street credit, and they don't even know. If they came up here in Upper Marlboro to your house and seen this darn house, they'd be like, man, he ain't even who we thought he was. And another example of that, when he was talking about the media industry and the entertainment industry, is Kanye. Kanye's parents, his mother was a college professor. Right. Come on now. Who are you, Kanye? And Kanye did 2 years of school. And he didn't finish. He told his mother, hey, I want to go another way. Okay. He went to school in this area. Yeah, he said, I want to go another way. His mother said, I'll give you 2 years. If you don't make it in that field, you know, which is the entertainment field, then you're going to finish your degree. He made it. He never went back. You know what I'm saying? So Kanye ain't stupid, okay? Right. He just plays the part, okay? In reference to, because he has an audience, the human behavior, he has an audience that he's trying to get to buy into, you know, so he can sell his brand, his music, or what have you. So behavior is very important in this industry. It's not only important in the industry, but it's important in all our segments of the what we do in the world, be it globally, be it here in America. And when it comes to kids, more importantly, we definitely have to make sure that we are, you know, playing the role in a positive way so that they don't fall into some of these negative things that they're seeing on social media, that they're seeing in the newspaper, that they're seeing on television, with all of this negative thing in reference to violence and stuff like that, and learning how to cope with handling stuff like violence. So we can't do that. Well,
and I pose a question again, because I don't want to get it veered too far to the left about what the kids need to do. What do we need to do as adults?
Parents need to step up.
We gotta elaborate on what it means to step up, though.
Step up means, go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's not always income, and I keep harping on that.
Income ain't the issue.
I keep harping on
one of the main things is education, and that's the thing.
Education or training?
Well, both. Education and training. And how do you go by getting that out? That's the thing. And we're not gonna go looking for it. So how that's gonna happen unless we want to improve ourselves. We want to educate ourselves. You know, the Lord said, we perish because of lack of knowledge. Our kids are perishing because of lack of knowledge. We're not able to train our kids. So it's important that, you know, once you take that role as a parent, you should take some type of training.
Yeah.
You should take some education. Hey, how can I be the best parent I can be?
The better parent, the best parent.
You know, I'm trying to get my kids to able to reach the highest level they can by my support. If you're not supporting your child, then what are you doing? You know, so those things got to be addressed, and how you address those things.
I just wanted to chime in on that because, and it brings me back to Stacy's point, and then we're going to move on to the next segment.
Sure.
But what I wanted to say is that education is important. Yes. Knowledge is power. However, there are some people who didn't have that much education who have kids who are superstars today.
Yes.
Venus and Serena Williams, okay? Their father didn't have that much education, but the support that you're talking about, he was in it to win it and made the success to what it is today.
Exactly.
And so what I'm saying is that for these absent parents and that belongingness,
the picture you're talking about.
Exactly. You gotta be in there. You gotta have that support because the kids, like Emmerich said, they ain't trying to listen to us. But if you're there and you're in their face, okay, and you're in the trenches with them, okay, you ride or die with them, they're going to respect you, okay? And they're going to learn from you because they're going to be able to set that example for when they have their children in the future.
Absolutely.
And say, hey, my parents was there. They weren't absent. They was there. They was focused. You know, they made me who I am today. So I'm just saying that I don't want us to think that or leave the image that absent parents, you can't survive because of an absent parent, because there's a lot of kids who are in foster care, so on and so forth, but they still are. I got a girl right now, she's ready to go to law school. She a foster parent. So I'm just saying, absent parent, it's some of it comes within. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And that child themselves, and what they learn and what they have horned in on for themselves, because at a certain point, you're going to be making decisions for yourself. So it can't be all about what the parents say, all about the church, all about the community. At a certain point, it's going to have to be this self-esteem. And you talked about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, okay? Well, the last one, in order to get your basic needs met, the last one is that you got to have the self-esteem. And nobody can give you self-esteem. That's something you got to do for yourself.
Yes.
And some of these kids don't have the self-esteem,
Right.
and if you don't learn that, you know, basic thing about self-actualization, you know, when you reach that point, that's saying that I have arrived. I know who I am. I know who I need to be, and I know how I need to move forward. When you don't do that, you're going to lose yourself, and you're going to lose in the game. So, you know, success is monumentous to, you know, how the child perceives themselves. Carlton, looked like you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I want to push back just a little bit. What I noticed when I was principal in this district is when I started out, my PTA only had 5 members. And within 5 years, I brought it to 900 members, 900 parents.
Wow.
Well, what you have to do is you have to educate them too. And what I mean is, whatever program that you have for the child, you have the program for them too.
Right.
And that's the type of education, because if they could do it, they would have already did it. And that's the mindset that you've got to take. Is it a heavy lift? Yes. Is it a heavy lift for 1 or 2 people to do it? Yes. They say in this world that 20% of the people do 80% of the lifting.
Right.
So you have to lift. If you have that specific skill set and you're blessed, it is your duty to try to uplift the other 80%. You just can't say, well, you need to do this, you need to do that. You have to bring them in and model it for them.
Yeah.
And you know,
get them to a point where they'll buy into what you're talking about, because some people won't do anything unless they see people won't buy into what you're talking about unless they can see what's in it for them.
Right.
And what's in it for them is that it's going to be something good for their children and perhaps them, and they're going to contribute to a positive community.
But in the beginning stages, steps 1 and 2, you on your own, because people are gonna sit back and they're gonna watch, and until you get to a certain point,
Critical mass.
Yes, and then all of a sudden they're gonna jump on your bandwagon. But when you out there starting in anything that you do, especially our people, we're gonna sit back and we're gonna watch. And then as soon as they think that you are getting close to arrive, like he said, critical mass, then all of a sudden they on your bandwagon, and that's in everything.
And you know, I just have one challenge for you.
Yeah.
You brought the 80-20 rule. That's Pareto principle, and the 80-20 rule is absolutely true. However, my thought is, and maybe I could be incorrect, you said you have to raise the other 80% up. I challenge that, and I would say you raise 5 or 10% up, and then that 5 or 10% go get another 5%. And what happened probably with your 900 people, you start off with a little gang of them, and then you reached about 10 or 15. That 10 or 15 brought another 5 in, and then it was an incremental step of more people bringing people.
We're saying the same thing. I just gave a global overview.
You gave a finished product.
You're talking about process.
Yeah, because I was like,
you're breaking down. You're breaking down how I got there.
Okay. Yeah, because
we're talking the same thing.
Yeah. Well, you said just go out and get the other 80%. I'm like, you gonna get 80% by yourself? You gonna fall over before you get.
That was the overall goal.
That's the overall goal,
Right.
and so I had to bring in strategies to get the parents in there. So for instance, I would have a what I call a touch base night, but I would also bring in local businesses
Right.
And also I bring in job fair.
Okay.
Wow,
So now, so not only do you meet with your teacher midway through, but I had local businesses there and big business opportunities.
Yes,
you bring your resume, and I had resume writing classes for the parents on Saturdays.
Wow.
Okay.
So yes, but in order to do that, you had to be an active member of the PTA.
Right.
You had to be a card carrying member of the PTA, and once you had that card carrying, membership has its privileges.
Yes, it does.
You see what I'm saying?
I like
So
that.
I carried some weight, because then if your child wanted after school tutoring on Saturday, if you were a card member, it was $50. If you were a non-carry member, it was $100.
Oh, wow.
And so everything was subsidized for being a card carrying member. So everything, even when it comes down to parties, $10 a non-PTA member, $5 if you were a card carrier, your mama or daddy was a card carrying member.
So the kids put pressure on the
Right.
parents.
Oh yeah.
Just like they do.
And they showed that card, bam.
Yeah.
Discounts on everything, and so that's how you got that buy-in all the way across, and it
Did
just
it get
grew.
to a point where the people who were members started bragging about what they?
That's not nice.
I did something like that and got me to the point where I got fired.
Everybody ain't happy for what you try to do, especially when you're trying to make change.
I'm talking about the members that you got to come on board.
Well, Roland is right as well, because I remember the superintendent called me down and said no one principal should have that kind of power. You should not have that kind of influence over the community. You shouldn't have that kind of power.
Dr. Carter don't know. No, that's all over the country. When black males do stuff like that.
When you do, what Roland is speaking about, unfortunately, is how it is here, and then you wondering why,
else.
and everywhere else. But I'm just and everywhere else. But if you push it and you show that light, there are a lot of people who want to stomp that out, so there can be business as usual. Because what you're doing is you're showing them it can be done.
Right.
They like to go around and tell you that it can't be done. And
we're working on it.
Or we're working on it, or they
Get back to you.
or they tell you it's complicated.
Well, yeah,
It's
even
like-
war has
it's
its
like
profit,
cancer.
so that's probably the concept.
It's like cancer. The money is in the disease, not in the cure.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you know what?
That's-
With that
that's
being said, guys, we're
unfortunate.
going to transition, because we can have guests here today, and I want to make sure that they're able to get a chance to speak on the topics that they came here for. So we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back. And if you'd like to call us, you can call us at 240-455-5934. Once again, the number to call in is 240-455-5934, and stay tuned. We'll be right back in a moment.
And Deborah, I'm gonna shut up because you got 30 minutes to get all these folks in.
Yeah.
Be quiet.
There was some valid stuff that you were saying.
Yeah, I mean, people need to know that. People also need to know how you can build something, and then there are other people that don't want to tear it down, which is crazy to me.
Yeah, man, the school doesn't, chess club, dress up day, to the point where the kids every Thursday, and dress up day in the 8th grade, 7th grade, middle school. And the kids started telling parents for Christmas instead of Xbox and bike, they wanted the clothes to be ready to Mr. Brown and dress up day.
Oh, that's so sweet.
And it ain't the classes that ran you out.
Oh no.
No, it's our own. It's black on black.
Because they were.
I see it. I've seen it. From the outside. Man, I can only imagine what the inside is like.
It makes it even easier for them.
You know, the psychology of
They don't come full frontal. They get you in the back and the side.
So Emma, get the president of one of the black men.
Yes, sir.
All right. So let's see, Walter Kirkland, and Charles Wheeler. Now see, Walter, his son was in my school.
Okay.
And so his golf tournaments that tournaments he used to put on, I got him going on that one.
Okay.
And then the 100 Black Men, I remember when you guys were when did you kick this off?
2012.
Okay, so in 2007, I had something called the Gentlemen's Association. In 2010, Kirkland worked with me, and then he said that he me and some other brothers were going to think about putting together a group of 100 black men. Pleased to meet you. So, yeah, but what he's talking about is I had 300 gentlemen that were from single parents. We brought in how to eat, table etiquette. We took them to Wall Street. We took them to either of those colleges. I'll go in and talk to them.
Okay. Thanks for staying tuned. You're listening to the Lady Deborah Radio Show, and you're listening to us through elifemedia.net. Okay, give it a round of applause for elifemedia.net. If you'd like to tune in, you can tune in live at elifemedia.net. If you'd like to call in, you can call us at 240-455-5934. Once again, the call-in number is 240-455, and that's 5934. We've had some stimulating conversation, and with that being said, I mean, it got a little heavy again, okay, a little heavy and hot, but nonetheless, it was very informative, you know, and with that being said, we do want to, highlight and spotlight our guests today, and so we're going to move into the biblical words. So I'm going to let Ms. Stacy give take a few moments, and she's going to give us the highlights in reference to the message for today. Again, the theme today is helping others, and let me just introduce Dr. Parker. Okay, Dr. Parker specializes in industrial organizational psychology, and her clientele has ranged from, the young, the older people, as well as anything in between. And it has been in reference to helping people for career opportunities, in reference to helping them trying to learn how to spearhead their career goals, be it through resume training, be it through coaching or what have you. Also, she has worked with ex-offenders. So the gamut of people that she has worked from has a big old spectrum. And so I want to give Dr. Parker a chance to go ahead and tell us a little bit about the message today, and then tell us about a little bit of the things that you've been doing in the community. So welcome, Dr. Parker.
Thank you very much, Dr. Parker.
That's fun.
That's an
Which Parker can cook?
That's what I want to know. Which Parker can actually cook? Okay. All right.
You go for me. Go ahead, Stacey.
But I'm going to begin with the scripture from Philippians 2:4. And it's very short. You can read the whole chapter if you like, but this is the part that I'm going to expand on. It says, "Let each of you look not only to his own interests, but also to the interests of others." That's very right in line with helping others. And really, I spent a big part of my life doing that, helping others. And in doing that, you mentioned that I work with ex-offenders. I've worked with ex-offenders when they come out, when they come home. I have several colleagues that work with them while they're still in jail. And I'm doing a podcast, a webinar on June 14th for an organization who came to me and wanted me to do something about how the relationship. Because some people, when they meet an ex-offender, they don't know. It's almost like they're aliens. They're people, and including the people in the profession that are supposed to be able to help them. It's the language that we use. It's our body language. It's everything to let those people know that they've done their crime, and we're here to help. So that's one way that I contribute to helping others. I also coach. Once I think about it, I've been coaching since I was 17 years old. I started doing peer facilitation.
Oh, okay.
For kids who were in trouble, being bullied, but didn't have anybody to speak to, and didn't want to talk to a guidance counselor or another adult. So peer facilitation was implemented.
Okay.
And it spoke to me. I knew that was my purpose.
Okay.
And so what I've done is expanded from that level. From facilitating youth to adults, to ex-offenders, to women, to battered women, to people, education. Some of my clients are PhD level. I get calls all the time from people who are, you included, Miss Parker. you included. I get calls all the time, and I've also, I mentor on every level, but I also seek mentoring for myself, because part of helping others is that you have to keep yourself well filled for yourself,
right,
so that you can also help other people. Because we talked about burnout. I do a podcast also on coaching from the inside out, and we talk about helping others, but not at the expense of
burning yourself
out. It's that same saying when you're on the airline, you know, in case of a water landing, put the oxygen on yourself first. Because you can't help anybody if you're not, you know, if you're not there to be able to you know, implement all the stuff that you need to. And you can know everything in the world, but if you are not equipped and you're burnt out and you just don't have it in you anymore, you can't help.
And let me chime in real quick, Stacey, because by us being in the field of psychology, we hear a lot of people's issues, okay, and they're looking for like that microwave instant resolve and trying to help them figure out. And this stuff is not that instant, okay? And not, I mean, we have the skills and the tools that we've been trained to do, but at the same token, it's a process for the client, okay? But sometimes the client want to go from meeting you and I'm fixed, no, or I got it now. No, it don't happen that simplistic. It's not that simple. It's a growth process, okay? Just like it took you all that time to get where you were, okay, in your struggle, it's going to take you a little bit more time to get out of that as well. And so there's tools that we as psychology, you know, people, we are able to train them and teach them and give them better coping mechanisms, be it in branding them as a, you know, an artist, or be it in the political field or what have you, be it as a one-on-one client that Stacey helps doing life coaching and helping them get from point A of being a high school graduate and 40 years of age and never having a good job, okay, to helping them say, hey, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I want a career plan that's going to cost me and give me